Hello, everyone. Are you ready to work on your English skills today? I'm happy to share some helpful tips and personal stories that helped me and others learn English fluently. Whether you're just starting out or want to improve, this video has useful advice, inspiration, and a bit of fun. Be sure to watch until the end because each tip could make a big difference on your journey to fluency. Reaching fluency in English is a goal for many people, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that needs time, effort, and consistency. When I think about how I learned English, I remember the struggles, small victories, and one piece of advice that really changed everything for me. Back then, I was a student, just like you, hoping to speak English well. But I was shy and made many mistakes. One day, my teacher told me something that became a turning point in my life. She said that fluency doesn't come suddenly. It's like growing a tree. You have to care for it every day. That advice stayed with me, and I realized fluency isn't just a faraway dream, it's something you build little by little every day. The first key to fluency is understanding the importance of practice. Like how a tree starts from a small seed, fluency grows with consistent effort. Each time you practice, you're helping your English skills grow. I remember one student who felt very discouraged and told me, "I want to speak English, but I forget the words all the time." I smiled and explained that fluency doesn't mean knowing every single word. It's about using what you know and practicing often. I gave her simple ideas for practice, like talking to friends in English to build confidence, listening to stories to learn new phrases, and singing songs to make learning fun. Slowly, she started to enjoy the process, and her mistakes turned into lessons. Over time, she became more confident and fluent. Some people think being fluent means speaking very fast, but that's not true. Real fluency is about being clear and confident when you speak. I remember a boy in my class who always spoke quickly but wasn't easy to understand. I told him to slow down, focus on speaking clearly, and use simple words. Fluency isn't a race, I said. He took my advice, and soon, people started understanding him better. This gave him more confidence, and he started enjoying English even more. This experience taught me that fluency isn't about speed, it's about being understood. Stories are also a great way to learn English. When I was a student, I loved hearing my teacher read stories. I would repeat the words, even when I didn't know their meanings. Over time, the words became familiar, and my vocabulary grew. I always tell my students to use stories as a learning tool. One of my students who struggled with English started reading simple stories every night. At first, she didn't understand much, but she didn't give up. Over time, her understanding improved, and she became more confident when speaking. Here's a secret to becoming fluent in English: listen as much as possible. Listening is the foundation of fluency. The more you listen, the more you'll learn. I had a student who loved music and listened to English songs every day. She sang along and, over time, her fluency improved because she was constantly hearing and engaging with the language in a fun way. Making mistakes is a normal part of learning. and they can be great opportunities to grow. I once had a student who was so afraid of making mistakes that she avoided speaking completely. I told her that mistakes are not failures but lessons, and fear should not hold her back. One day, she decided to speak during class, even though she made many errors. She kept trying, and over time her confidence improved. In the end, she became one of the most fluent students in the group. This taught me that fluency is not about being perfect, but about staying determined and continuing to practice. Fluency becomes much easier when you train your mind to think directly in English. Many students face difficulties because they try to translate their thoughts from their first language into English, which slows them down and creates confusion. I once suggested to a student that he practice thinking in English, even when he was by himself. I encouraged him to describe his daily activities, plans, or surroundings in English. He made this a daily habit, and soon his sentences sounded more natural and fluent. Thinking in English allows you to speak more confidently and naturally. It's a skill that grows with regular practice, so make it part of your routine. Treat learning English like caring for a tree. Dedicate time to it daily and watch your progress. Focus on speaking at a comfortable pace and clearly, so others can understand you. Use fun activities like stories and songs to build your listening skills and make it easier to remember new words. Don't let mistakes hold you back. Instead, view them as chances to improve. Train yourself to use English naturally in your everyday life. By taking small, consistent steps, you will create a strong foundation for fluency. Remember that fluency is a journey. Celebrate every improvement, no matter how small, and keep going forward. Once you've made progress with the basics, you can move on to advanced methods to improve your English even further. These techniques help you go beyond learning grammar and vocabulary, so you can use English confidently in real-life situations. When I was studying English, I often felt stuck. I knew the rules and basic words, but I found it hard to speak naturally. My fluency improved when I started using more advanced strategies. One effective way to practice is by having real conversations. Talking with fluent or native English speakers gives you a chance to use English in practical situations. Don't be afraid of mistakes, they are part of the learning process. If you don't know anyone to practice with, try using language exchange apps or joining online communities. I once encouraged a student to participate in a local English-speaking group. At first, she was nervous and unsure, but over time, her confidence grew. Conversations with others helped her improve her pronunciation, expand her vocabulary, and speak more smoothly. Another helpful approach is setting clear, specific goals for yourself. Instead of saying, "I want to be fluent," break your goal into smaller tasks. For instance, decide to learn 5 new words each day, have a short chat in English, or write a few sentences about your day. One of my students set a goal to watch 1 English movie every week. She started with subtitles and gradually began watching without them. This improved her listening skills and taught her new phrases. Staying motivated is just as important. Progress may sometimes feel slow, but remember that small efforts lead to big results over time. Make learning enjoyable by exploring topics you love in English. For example, I had a student who enjoyed cooking, so she watched English cooking shows and read recipes. This made her learning fun and also helped her build vocabulary related to her interests. Listening often is another essential part of becoming fluent. Surround yourself with English by listening to podcasts, audiobooks, or news shows. The more you listen, the better you'll understand how the language sounds naturally. Pick topics you find interesting. For example, one of my students enjoyed motivational speeches and listened to them daily. This improved her listening skills and also kept her motivated to continue learning. Pronunciation is also important for advanced learners. Listen closely to how native speakers pronounce words, paying attention to their tone and stress. Try recording yourself speaking and then compare it to how they sound. This will help you notice areas for improvement and refine your pronunciation. Immersing yourself in English as much as you can will make it feel more natural. Read books, watch TV shows, and think in English as often as possible. The more exposure you have to the language, the more confident you'll feel using it. I had a student who put labels in English on everything in his house. This simple activity helped him think in English every day and made it easier for him to remember new words. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to English Storyteller for more videos. We talk about grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and conversation to help you on your path to learning English. Try using graded readers, practice storytelling, and take your English skills to the next level with us.